Hey everyone, Sarah Lang here. Earlier this week I posted about buying myself a foam roller because it's something I've been using at my clinical a lot with my patients who have, decreased mobility or muscle soreness or could just benefit from using the foam roller before or after a workout. And I love it so much I wanted to get one for myself. And I had some people asking me for advice on my favorite ways to use the foam roller. Just a disclaimer, this is not medical advice. This is just what I found to work for me. And I do have some background, of course, since I'm in school for physical therapy and I'll be graduating in May. But again, this is not medical advice that I'm giving, just putting that out there. So just to get started, I'm going to show you my very favorite way to use a foam roller, which is for my thoracic spine, that mid-back. A lot of people get sore there, especially depending on how your posture is and what you do for a living. A lot of us live our lives forward on a computer, driving, different things like that, and we don't get a lot of motion back there all the time depending on who you are. So first what you're going to do is get your foam roller about there, and then I just plant my feet, lift my hips up. I'll get more this way so you guys can see. I hold my head like this with my elbows here, and then I just lift my hips up, roll back, put my elbows back to roll forward, bring my elbows forward. Just do this a few times up and down your spine. Feels amazing. And then sometimes your shirt gets stuck. Whoops. Another thing you can do if you have a left side or right side that's a little bit more sore, you can lean to one side. So right now I'm getting more of my left side. Getting my lats right here. And my shoulder blade on this side. Let's do the other side, gotta even out. Alright. Another place I love to do is quads and hip flexors. So I'll flip over. I basically just climb right on top of it. And so you can see my feet are kind of floating up behind me. And I just roll myself back and forth. And what you can do is turn your legs in or out. Just change the position of if your toes are facing in or your toes are facing out. You can actually get different parts of your quads. So I pretty much just use my forearms to pull me back and forth. Some of this is kind of like an ab workout, to be honest. If you feel one leg needs it more than the other, you could always cross your legs and just... So right now I'm concentrating more on my right leg. And if I cross the other way, I'm focusing and leaning more towards my left leg. Now, a lot of people have tight hip flexors. That's just like the nature of sitting a lot or, different positions like that. So where I'm aiming for right now is the very front of your hip, where the top of your leg meets kind of like where your hip bone is. And you can only really do one at a time for this. So what I do, if you can see my legs, I have this leg bent and this leg straight. So I'm working on my right hip flexor. And then what I do is just lay right down on it. I'll turn the other way for my left one so maybe you guys can see my legs a little bit better. So this leg's bent, this leg behind me is straight, kind of like in a salamander or like a pigeon pose. Oops, sorry, other leg. Left leg straight, right leg bent. And then just really focus in on that one spot. Woo, hurts so good. Another spot that is a really good place to start are your IT bands. This gets tight a lot in runners and many other people. It's basically a band that starts here and goes down toward your knee. So this one hurts me a little bit, but then I feel a lot better after. So lay on my side, and whichever leg I'm working on is on the bottom, and then I just cross the other one over, and then I just roll back and forth. Woo! So I could probably bend that and do that as well, so I'm not dragging my foot. Switch sides. Whew. Yeah, this one's tough for me. Oh, this feels kind of nice, just bending and straightening my knee as I go up and down my leg. So it's a little experimental too. You know, use your judgment, right? You know your body. All of my leg muscles are pretty much tight, so I also do my hamstrings and my glutes. Just kind of sit right on top of it. And I use my arms behind me to kind of launch myself back and forth. This is another one where you could cross one leg over the other. So if I want to work on my right hamstring, that's the one on the bottom, and left leg's crossed over. Ooh. And this is getting my IT band a little if I roll toward the outside. This is a little bit of a workout, that's why I'm breathing heavy. Another place you could do, of course, is your calves. A lot of people have tight calves. So you can either just go this way. You don't really get a lot of pressure that way. Usually I have to cross one hand over the other, lift my butt off the ground, and roll back and forth. Alright, so good, like I said, I'm sweating. And then this is one I just recently learned that I really enjoy. If you have tight upper traps, if you have kind of like tightness on your neck, or the base of your head, this can be a really nice release. If you know what your suboccipital muscles are, sometimes they can get really tight and cranky and cause headaches. So this is another one I do. You just put your head right on the foam roller, and then you might have to hold it so it doesn't roll away from you. You just turn your head, I'll do it this way so you can see, side to side. Now if I want to focus more on my right, you can just do little motions here. Yeses and nos. And go to the other side and do the same thing. It's basically like a little neck massage. It's really nice. And last but not least, this is basically a reverse of what I would call child's pose. So if you guys know what child's pose is, you have kind of like your knees apart, feet together, and you're reaching out in front of you like this. And what you're trying to do is lengthen your spine and sending your tailbone back and your fingers forward. So I do this a different way as well to lengthen my lumbar spine, give it a nice stretch. You want the foam roller basically right at the end of your tailbone. So like right there. Sorry, that wasn't very graceful. And then bring one knee to chest. Make sure your abdominals are engaged when you're doing that. Other knee to chest. You might need to hold onto the foam roller. And then if it's not in the right spot, you just roll it out a little. And what I'm looking for here is just like some lengthening here. So it's holding kind of like the end of your spine up, and you're able to just kind of breathe deeply and relax into the stretch. So, video's a little bit long, but hopefully that helps those of you who are asking about how to use your foam roller. Let me know if there's any areas that you know of that I didn't show, and if you have any questions. Thanks for watching!